Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. Gary Keller. And my friends, you will find as you practice day in and day out, you learn more from your mistakes. I did a training recently about an incoming tide raises all boats. And there are times when the market is going up and anything you throw a dart at goes up. And that is the worst time to learn how to trade because you think you're a genius because everything works. And then the minute there's a correction, everything goes bad and you lose 100% of your confidence. So I'm just telling you, don't worry about the mistakes. It's about doing the right thing, not everything right, and not always will everything go right. Stick with it. You can do it. Patreon members, hope you enjoyed those 20 weekly vertical crossovers we sent yesterday. Please be aware that if for some reason our emails are going into your spam box, you can always check the Patreon site. We have those loaded up for you there. You want to learn what that's about? Go check out our Patreon page. Thank you so much, my friends. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks down, bonds and gold up, Bitcoin down. Let's jump into the S&P 500. Nonetheless, we had an up week, a green up candle. Price percent oscillator is negative, but heading up a little bit. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. What's going on that 2-day? It crossed over going up back on the 19th. And as we have seen, we had 2 additional days of up movement, and the first day of this latest 2-day candle is showing a green candle. Now again, these are Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, even though the charts were down for the day. You'll see when we get to the half-day chart where that is reflected. It's showing us what's happening with the average pace of price movement. Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, I'll put that training at the end of today's video. Those of you who haven't taken it. It shows us average pace. Now the nice thing about the price percent oscillator is, again, it is a percentage version of the MACD. The derivative oscillator is a triple smooth version of the relative strength index. The derivative oscillator is a leading indicator. The price percent oscillator is a lagging indicator. That's why we use both of them. We can see different things occurring. In fact, all 3 of these indicators give us different information that we compile, consolidate, pay attention to both on each chart separately and all 3 charts together. That's the long-term weekly, the intermediate term 2-day, and the short-term half-day. So what do we see on this 2-day chart? We see that during the course of the day, things did pop up a little higher. We see the price percent oscillator losing a little bit of energy, derivative oscillator continuing to oscillate upwards. What about the half day? That is where we see things sliding along. It did pop up a little higher, but again, no climbing above, down 0.10%, so 0.1%. That price percent oscillator consequently heading down a little bit. Derivative oscillator peaked all the way back on the morning of the 19th, Tuesday the 19th, and has been devolving since then. It means that as far as the growth goes, you can see how the candlesticks are getting smaller. That's what that's showing you. It is showing, again, it's a leading indicator. Have a great training on the derivative oscillator. I'll scatter it through the training today. You'll see it pop up on the right-hand side of the screen for you, but I think you could get a lot out of that. So that is where we are on what's happening with the S&P 500. No crossover going up. We're not in because the weekly is down, the 2-day is up, and we will continue to watch, wait, and see as these things progress. And I'm making myself a note on the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks and the derivative oscillator. And just for kicks, throughout the course of the show, I'm going to put up on the right-hand side of the screen also the training on the price percent oscillator and understanding it fully. So all 3 of those indicators, Heikin-Ashi, derivative oscillator, and the price percent oscillator, will have some good training scattered out through the program for you. Now, let's jump into the Nasdaq 100 as represented by QQQ. We see a green up candle for the week. Price percent oscillator is about flat. Derivative oscillator is negative, losing some downward momentum. Look at the 2-day. we can see that on Thursday, it crossed over going up and then just sort of dying on the vine there on Friday. That open box red candle means a slowdown in the up movement. Price percent oscillator consequently bending over, and derivative oscillator, it's still heading up some on the 2-day, first day of that 2-day candle. And you can see reflected the down movement, down 0.84% for the day. Price percent oscillator on that half-day chart's not crossed over going down yet, but that derivative oscillator's been going down since it too, like the S&P, peaked on Tuesday morning, the 19th. That is where we are when it comes to stocks. We don't have a stock index position now because of the schizophrenia between the down movement on both of our S&P and Nasdaq 100 charts. Weekly down, 2-day up. We'll wait for that to straighten itself out. Let's go to the 20-year bond fund. What do we see there? Ended the week with a green, pretty much a doji. Lots of indecision. Price percent oscillator still heading down. Derivative oscillator heading down. Check out the 2-day. It is negative. The first day of this latest 2-day candle after a big boom and down candle is rather wimpy. It's just sort of, again, it's almost a doji. Price percent oscillator's negative, heading up a little bit maybe, and derivative oscillator's negative, losing downward momentum. So don't have anything going on there much. Let's look at the half-day chart. You can see it up in the morning and peeling off a little bit in the afternoon, up overall 1.10%, blasting through that weekly down trend line. So again, we'll wait, watch and see how things go as the market continues to develop. What about gold? I keep waiting for gold to cross over. Said I didn't think it'd cross over by the end of the week, and guess what? It didn't. It was an up day, 0.60%, an up week with a lot of energy burning off with that long wick on the top. But unlike the prior week where we had a wick on the bottom and it was a smaller candle, it does look like it's heating up a little bit. And again, hoping for a weekly vertical crossover coming up maybe over the course of this next week. We look at the 2-day chart. Nice to see things moving up the 2-day trend line. Price percent oscillator gaining energy. Derivative oscillator gaining energy. Looks nice. Half-day chart. What do we see? They're up in the morning, losing some of that energy in the afternoon, but it boomed up nicely in the morning. Check that, at a high of 169.54. That's pretty. That's where we are on stocks and gold and bonds. Now, lastly, let's check out Bitcoin before we wrap things up. What's up with Bitcoin? Down 3.61%. We see that we've had a nice big up week for Bitcoin. Nice big green up candle, well above the weekly trend line, above the 2-day trend line. And again, a nice spike on top. Look at the 2-day. We saw where that 2-day really boomed there on Thursday. Again, losing some of that energy on Friday. Still sitting right there above the 2-day trend line. That's nice to see, well above the weekly trend line. Price percent oscillator losing a little bit of energy, as did the derivative oscillator. First day of the latest 2-day candle. You can see where things peaked on Wednesday and then sort of slowing and rolling down on Thursday and Friday. So we'll continue to watch Bitcoin. Those of you who jumped in on that 2-day recross going up, I know you are loving it. Successful practice trade so far. Pay close attention if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, and want to learn how to follow it. I recommend you follow it every day with us. You can practice trade to your heart's content. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you'll learn lots of good information to potentially use in the future. We'd love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. Thank you for the book purchases. If you don't have our book, Charting Your Way to Wealth, I have an autographed copy waiting for you. Patreon members, thank you so much for your support. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.